What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back in the motherfucking building. One time for the one time. Back with the boxing clinic. You already know what it is. Back speaking on my boy Corey from IOBT Boxing Talk YouTube, IOBTA Boxing Talk Facebook, 45,000 strong in that boy. And he was speaking on, why do people rank Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman, I guess, on a pound for pound list higher than Errol Spence, when Errol Spence has the better win and more impressive win versus Kell Brook. And I'm gonna speak on this. He was very adamant about this, and a lot of people tend to think he's more pro Errol Spence because he's from the Dallas area. Errol's from the Dallas area, and there's probably some bias there, but there's some concrete, truthful evidence there. And let's get into it. I'm talking about Terence Crawford. A very good talent, but you could poke holes through his resume, which I'm about to do right now. Which anybody resume, you damn near you could poke holes with. And when he fought Klimov, the fight after he fought British Prescott, a lot of people was calling him boring because he couldn't knock Klimov off. I don't know what Klimov is after this fight, but it was a tough fight. It wasn't his best performance, but you can't be on your A game every night. All you can do is just ask to get the victory some nights. Then he did what he's supposed to do. Then, he fought Yurickis Gamboa around that time. Excuse me, my timeline a little bit fucked up. He fought him. It was an onslaught by Gamboa early in the fight. He was piecing Crawford up pretty good, stunned him, and almost put Terence Crawford in the pine boxing 6 feet deep. But Crawford was able to adjust and win the fight, basically for the simple fact that he was a bigger, stronger guy than Gamboa, and his skills took over at the end, but primarily because he was bigger and stronger. And Gamboa was such a small guy that he couldn't deal with the physical strength of Terence Crawford. That's basically what it came down to. Then he had a tough fight with Beltran where he couldn't knock Beltran out, but Beltran is a tough guy. He was a very decorated guy coming out the amateurs, but got stuck being Pacquiao's sparring partner. But now he's starting to come out to the trenches, and he should be a world champion. Got robbed by Ricky Burns. But it is what it is. And he moves up to 140. Fights, Derry John, Lundy, and Thomas Delorme gave him a good fight, a very good fight. It was piecing Crawford up early, but his size just took over once again. Then he fought Victor Postol and showed guys that somebody else is equal size or he's a little bit bigger, that he was able to move and outbox him. And people were screaming that he ran from Victor Postol, but he showed his versatility where he was more than a bigger guy. He was able to box a bigger guy and not get caught up in making those mistakes. But what hurts his cause with that is the fact that Victor Postol was on the back of milk cartons and missing posters on your local, Bill Billington board. Fought Felix Diaz, did his thing versus Felix Diaz, proved to be too big, too strong for Felix Diaz as well. After that, we are now. Keith Thurman. He was supposed to make his debut on HBO versus Marcos Maidana, after signing with Al Heyman. Maidana wasn't ready after losing to Devin Alexander. And what happened with that was the fact that, him and Robert Garcia was still building that rapport. He had just got knocked down by Josito Lopez sometime after that, or right around that time, and he wasn't ready. He wasn't the Madonna, that he was that fought Broner and Floyd. He had grew leaps and bounds under the tutelage of Robert Garcia, giving him some boxing skills, a good jab, some other good technical abilities that Robert Garcia helped him achieve, and able to retire and give Floyd Mayweather some of his toughest fights to date and beat Adrian Broner, the pound-for-pound hype king. Then, Keith, he fought Robert Guerrero sometime after that, beat Guerrero. They had to force Guerrero to fight him because Guerrero, didn't want to fight him. He didn't want to take on that challenge. Nobody wanted to take on the challenge at one time, but they paid Guerrero enough money to take that challenge. And pretty much that was the beginning of the end of Robert Guerrero's career. He was shot after that. Then he did fight Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Leonard Bundini Bundu, who was a mutual opponent with Errol Spence, but he beat him first. Sometimes it does count high if you beat somebody to the buffet first, because you set the plate for how to beat somebody. So, you making those comparisons between Spence and Keith Thurman win over Bundu, doesn't matter. Keith Thurman laid the groundwork. He beat him first, and some guys, after you beat them, they're not the same after that. Danny Garcia, he was able to beat Danny Garcia, even though he tended to fade towards the end. He beat Sean Porter in a razor-thin fight that some people think Sean won. Some people think Keith won. It was a fight that should happen again and should have happened again immediately, but it didn't because Keith was injured before that fight in a car accident. And then after that, then they had to remake that fight or whatever it was. So, we here. Kell Brook handled Sean Porter easier than Keith Thurman did, in my opinion. And Errol Spence handled Kell Brook pretty easily. You know, early it was some trials and tribulations, but Errol made the adjustments that, you know, most, you know, boxing fans, hardcore and purists couldn't see that he made. Well, adjusting his angles and his shots and slipping under Kell Brook's shots, and he did what Sean Porter couldn't do. He was able to slip shots under so Kell Brook couldn't hold him. He made that simple adjustment with his distance and his angles of his shots and his angles where he was coming from, and he was able to systematically break Kell Brook down in a way Sean Porter couldn't. Now, nobody's saying that Kell Brook would have just demolished Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman. We just saying that I think Kell Brook is the better win. You know, he went over to the UK, which most people are not willing to do, in front of 30,000 fans, and he won his world title. Where did Terence Crawford win his world title at? He won it in America. Where did Keith Thurman win his world titles? In America. Ain't too many guys got the ball to go across the pond and win their world title as well. So you have to put that into the equation as well. He did what most wouldn't do. He did what Tim Bradley was able to do. He did what a lot of guys in boxing history wouldn't want to do. Would go over across the pond and got a knockout and risked his O, and he made that risk. He believed in himself that much. And I think this kid I would favor this kid to be both of these guys right now. You know, slight advantage over Keith and a nice advantage over Terence Crawford. From the simple fact from Terence Crawford's standpoint is that Crawford is a good fighter, but he has to shore up his defense. He can't be taking those shots that he took versus Delorme, Gamboa, and those guys. And I think his team's smart enough to know that he can't be a tit-for-tat fighter with a bigger fighter at welterweight. He's going to make that adjustment. I told you guys that his story will be told at 147, similar to Adrian Broner. But I think he's going to pass that test better. I think he could beat Earl. I think he could beat Keith. But Keith and Earl, I think Errol Spence is he's able to take Keith's punches. You know, I think he beats Keith. You know, cut the ring down. Keith does too much running. You know, it's different between running and educated boxing movement. But, you know, I favor him over both guys. And I think he should be higher, but probably just not yet. But we gone.